Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miles, bringing you a brand new video, and as you can tell from the title, we are going to be discussing my first impressions for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The game has been out almost two weeks now. It is November 25th. As of the time of this recording, the game came out on November 13th, so pushing 2 weeks. And before we get started, I do want to give a quick shout out to Treyarch. I think especially given the circumstances of development, at least in the later stages of development, Treyarch did a really good job with this game. There's pretty minimal bugs, and all the balancing and maps and the overall design is really good. And since the game's release, they have actually already come out with Nuketown 84, and they've introduced some patches, nerfing some guns, which you really like to see happen this quickly and this early into a game. And then I also want to quickly mention my stream. Right now I don't have a very consistent stream schedule, but that should be changing hopefully by the end of next week. For now, if you just follow me over on Twitter, I do tweet out every time I go live. Streaming on Facebook right now, and most of what I've been doing is 2v2 game battles. I also just joined a Create Supply game battle team, so just follow me on Twitter if you guys are interested in the stream. For now, let's go ahead and roll the intro and get started. So the way I want to break down this video is really three big points. I want to talk a little bit about the maps and map design, the guns and the gun balance, and then the overall class system. So getting to that first topic, we have the maps and map design. Overall, I think that most of the maps are really good, and the flow on the maps is also really good. A big part of that is the spawns. I think they really did a good job on spawns, especially coming off of Modern Warfare with the squad spawning. And I have played a pretty decent amount of different game modes: Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, Free-for-all I've played a little bit of. We've got Team Deathmatch, Domination. Pretty much played a little bit of everything at this point, and overall all the maps do flow pretty well. There are certain maps like the grassy map that are just not super fun to play. The game and the map actually flow well, but the visibility makes that map kind of a drag. But overall, I think that the maps are really good. I haven't played Nuketown yet. I've been working and just haven't had the chance to fire up the Xbox. And I'm also a little bit concerned because the game has been known to be bricking and crashing some of the next-gen consoles. So I'm a little hesitant to play too much just to avoid that. But moving on, we have the guns and gun balance. Now, as I stated in the intro, we've already seen them nerf some of the guns, which is really nice. I haven't played with too much of the new stuff yet, but overall the balancing of the guns is really, really good, especially if you consider the fact that there was probably minimal, if any, in-studio testing due to quarantine and COVID and everything. I look at it as most of their balancing and all the data they collected on weapons was probably mostly based on the betas and very little, like I said, if any, in-studio testing, which is pretty impressive. When the game first launched, there were a couple of overpowered guns, like some of the tactical rifles, the MP5, but overall I think that there's pretty minimal tweaks needed to get this game in a really, really healthy place when it comes to the weapon balancing. We also have the weapon leveling and some of the camos. Now, dark matter in this game looks incredible, and I will be probably going for that. However, the weapon leveling plays a role in your camos as well. Right now, I think the leveling's a little bit too slow, and it's just going to be a little bit of a problem when you go for that dark matter camo. The real issue is that some of the higher tiered camos you actually can't do until you've reached the weapon level. Some of those weapon levels I've seen get pretty high, so I'd like to see a little bit of changes there. Then we have this entire sniper debate between the public and competitive communities. A lot of the pub snipers, a lot of your guys that are going for feeds and really do all of their content on sniping, feel that the snipers in this game are a little bit underpowered. You have the Pellington, which is pretty quick but gets a lot of hit markers, and then you got the Tundra, which is a little bit too slow but gets you your one-shot kills. And I've read the patch notes. I've yet to use the sniper rifles since they've updated them. But it looks like they've actually taken a little bit of a nerf again, so that is really interesting. And I think that the best thing that I've seen, the best solution I've seen on Twitter so far, was to basically buff the snipers, and then for competitive, just put some rules in place that stop you from using certain attachments that would maybe make them a little too strong. A lot of the professional players' complaints are regarding aim assist, pull-up time, etc. So it'll be interesting to see as the year progresses and how those things change, and see if they can find a nice happy medium. You also have shotguns, which aren't really in a debate between the pro and pub community, but I would like to see the shotguns get a little tiny buff. I have been told by some friends that if you level up the pump shotgun enough, it actually is in a pretty good spot. So we'll keep using it, we'll level it up and see how I feel. We'll readdress this on stream. But as of right now, I feel like at least the first 10 or 12 levels of the pump shotgun, it's just not really viable as a close quarters weapon, which shotguns should be. But with you leveling up your guns and unlocking new attachments, you have the gunsmith, so you can really deck that gun out. And that kind of brings us to the next point and the final point, which is the classes and class system. So you've got the gunsmith returning from Modern Warfare. This is a huge addition. I'm a big fan of it. There is definitely a place for simple, minimal class designs. Call of Duty, I don't think, is that place. I think that giving players as much control over their weapons as possible is huge, and Gunsmith helps you do that. This year, they did take it a step further with the wild cards. You can actually get, I believe, up to 8 attachments on a single weapon, which is pretty insane, and there's not too many cons to doing that. And then you've got the perks. Perks in this game, I think, are in a pretty good spot. You've got perk categories returning in a more normal way. You know, your perk 1 is a little bit more resistancy, perk 2 is a bit of a support perk, and then perk 3 is a little more stealth related. Modern Warfare kind of had that. You did see perks bounce from slot to slot throughout the year, but it is nice seeing them launch with what looks like pretty dedicated perk categories. You also have the return of field upgrades. This time I think it's in a little bit of a better place than it was in Modern Warfare. However, I think that the trophy system is being used too much, especially if you play some competitive stuff, which we'll get into at the very end of this video. Right now though, the trophy system is just being spammed and it's a little bit too strong. And I would love to see the EMP be added, which I'll mention again in the competitive section. We also have these streaks. Streaks in this game, I think, are in a pretty good place. We have seen some of the values changed. I haven't played too much on the new patch, so I'm not going to mention streaks too much, but I think there is the potential, and I like that they are in the game, and I would like to see them find a way to incorporate them to competitive play. I think that the everybody earns streaks eventually is a little interesting. And I think that, you know, changing some of the score streak values is hopefully helping that. Again, I haven't played too much on the new patch, so don't have too much to talk about then or there. But finally, I do want to talk a little bit about competitive, including skill-based matchmaking, ranked play, GBs, etc. Skill-based matchmaking is something that has been highly controversial over the last few years. This game, everyone is saying it is super strong. Myself, however, I haven't noticed it too much. There's been a couple of times where it's definitely standing out, but I really hope that they are using the skill-based matchmaking data right now to develop a really accurate ranked that uses skill-based, and then once the ranked play launches, they can actually scale the skill-based back for regular casual pubs. That would be the ideal situation, because I do feel that skill-based matchmaking has a good place. It just should be in a ranked mode. We also have GBs, S&D, map flow, stuff like that. As I said at the very beginning, most of what I have been streaming is 2v2 GBs. Don't know what it is about this game, but it actually makes me really want to grind these out. And I haven't grinded out 2v2 game battle search and destroy matches since COD Ghosts. And yeah, I've been kind of getting back into it, and a big part of that is the map design. A lot of these maps are small enough that it actually makes the 2v2s really fun. I played a couple of 2v2s in Modern Warfare, and some of those maps were just so big that it didn't really work for 2v2s. It was good for, you know, 4 or 5 people teams. 2v2s, they were just a little bit too big. Game mode wise for competitive, you've got hardpoint, search and destroy, and control. My question is, what happened to capture the flag? That's my personal favorite respawn mode. And I think that this game, it would actually play really, really well with the maps and the spawn system. It would be so good to see Capture the Flag return instead of being taken out of the game entirely. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that they'd remove the game from the competitive rotation and the whole game. Like, if anything, just keep it for pubs. I don't know why they got rid of it entirely. So please, please, please bring it back. Overall, though, I think this game has a lot of potential to be really, really good for competitive. Even Control being the third respawn game mode, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if they kind of learn and tweak some of the problems with Control in Black Ops 4, who knows? Maybe it'll swing me around, but as of right now, I think Capture the Flag in this game would be just the perfect third game mode. That is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree. Just let me know what your guys' impressions of the video, or not of the video. Let me know what your guys' impressions of the game are so far. Again, it's been out a couple of weeks. If you guys haven't picked it up, by the way, make sure you're following Patriot over on Twitter. I'll leave him in the description below. I know that he has an extra copy and he's planning on doing some sort of giveaway. Just don't know when or where. But make sure you're following him. Again, description in, or his link will be in the description below. Kind of falling all over the place towards the end here. That's it though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like. Again, go in the comments and let me know what you think of the game so far. And if you guys want to be up to date on the newest videos, make sure you guys are clicking that subscribe button, turning on your notifications, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out.
It's my chest right in the morning, like a warning. Could have slept here for days.